You want to go like would you agree that because I've never done
Uh,
anime, would you be okay with some
well, real
anime
quick.
scans as long as they exist within the manga
Okay,
and vice versa?
yeah, I'm okay with that, but I will say this, the manga will always be pretext over the anime. So if you have, like, say for an example, a statement, but the manga in Dragon Ball Z contradicts it, I'm gonna say that the manga's over the anime.
Okay. Uh, so do you agree that like when Frieza gets his like enhancements, right? Like from King Cold after the Namek fight, that he's stronger?
Are you talking about, like Robo Frieza?
Yeah, the Robo Frieza. Yeah.
Yeah, but, like, only a little bit, really. Not
Okay, that's
much.
I mean that's fine. I think we can I think that's fine. And you agree that Super Saiyan Trunks, like Future Trunks is a one shot tier above even that.
Well, real quick, I haven't even heard your premise. Why have
Oh,
we started
I
to
just think
skip?
that oh sure what we can extrapolate from the anime and manga, Dr. Jiro and Android 21 theme to than characters that should be capable of beating Namek Goku, let alone the fact that I'm using two characters who have the ability to absorb ki, right? And therefore, I think because of all these advantages that they have from either being stronger or being able to team up and being relative enough with their abilities that they would beat Namek Goku. Especially if you want to agree that Namek Goku is in the state he is in at the end of the Frieza fight, then at his like supposed peak where we like see the like in the data books it says 150 million, right? If that's supposed to be at his best, right at that point of the fight, he's still a bit tired. So I think also given that they have the advantage to
Oh,
win.
okay, yeah, yeah. So you've gone beyond your premise just a little bit.
Huh?
So my premise would be that Goku, at least who he scales to, are just way more impressive than the androids themselves, and
Okay.
I believe I will be able to persuade an argument. Actually, all right, yeah, let's go ahead.
The reason mainly why I want to argue this is that what is it? If I can like get a good argument for this, there's actually this thing in that relies on this in order to get the humans like Yamcha from the Moro arc above Golden Frieza. It's like really complicated.
Well, I won't be taking that. I will only be taking
No, no,
stuff
I'm
within
saying
the
that's why I'm like
construct of
trying to
Dragon
argue
Ball
this
Z.
because it's good
Yeah.
for what is it Dragon Ball Inverse later on. Because if I can prove this, then I can also prove it like I remember debating this a while back. But like if I
Right.
can prove
Okay.
Doctor Zero is stronger than that Goku, okay. But yeah, so
Okay.
for what we can see,
So
right, Doctor Zero and Android 20. First thing that we see them do is impale Yamcha. The reason why I think this is important, oh my god, hopefully I can have the scan. Oh my god, hopefully I can find the scan quick because I've seen this part in the Dragon Ball manga. I'm gonna be so pissed if it takes forever. Dragon. Oh,
you don't gotta
oh,
prove this to me. I know this, but I'm gonna tell you this right now. Out of all the Z fighters, that is not impressive to do it. To actually
oh.
argue
The
that
thing
it's
is that
more that it, hold up. I'd actually argue that it's way more impressive to do it to someone like maybe Gohan and Krillin, who's had their potential unlocked on Namek.
I think I have reason to believe Yamcha's stronger. Give me a second.
Mm,
Trying to find.
that's just
I'm trying
so
to find a
crazy.
I'm trying to find the scan on I'm trying to find the scan. Give me a second. Dragon Ball. Uh, General color. Okay, the colored version just is easier to see. Trying to look at which chapter the Android Saga starts. Okay. Dynamic fight number 30. No, that's a Cell Saga.
So in the Android saga, because I got it here for you, his power level is 1.6 million. That it
Who?
just puts him at
Wait,
Saiyan
is that
Saga
where? Wait,
Goku.
wait, really? Where's that? Where's wait, is there an official data book that says that version of Yamcha is that strong? Because what is it? There's a scan.
There's a whole bunch of data books. Let me see if I can get one that can actually
Because I have
real
seen
quick.
a fan made I have seen like fan made like what is it? power
Yes,
level
like from the
things.
wikis and stuff. No, I'm not getting it from that. No.
Okay. Oh, because there's a statement that Piccolo makes that if you're not ready to fight people stronger than Frieza or something like that, you shouldn't come. We see that Chaozu doesn't come. He's depicted as the weakest, so that makes sense. So the idea that Chaozu would be weaker than Frieza at that point makes sense. But Yamcha is there, if I'm correct. So yeah, he's there.
Okay, so
Uh,
for one, the reason I'm saying that is because first of all, these are not the androids that they were expecting to fight. The androids they were expecting to fight were the ones that were hyped up by Trunks because his entire like race, pretty much timeline is taken over by these two. And they are much stronger than Frieza. But it's specifically talking about these two. You're to interpret it as Jiro and his android, which by the way, lose to
well,
Vegeta, who is
well,
gotta be at least like, if not a little comparable to Goku in battle IQ. And if
the
Vegeta
thing
can
is
find a way to
that
do that, Goku's doing that.
well, the reason why I believe that wouldn't necessarily matter is that they prepared for those stronger androids, right? And do you agree that when a character in Dragon Ball is like they already have a gauge for stronger characters that they can train and prepare to reach that level? Like the idea that like the fact that Krillin before the tournament of power is able to fight characters or at least like box characters and exist on a plane as characters that can like just one tap Kid Buu, can one tap Super Saiyan Vegito, all that other stuff. It's like if the fact that Krillin has that motivation later on in Tournament of Power, capable of doing that, I think this can
Right.
apply to all
So
arcs in Dragon Ball.
so once again, you were applying it to Super, and this is not within the context of Super.
Well,
So
that's the
I
thing. I
need you
don't
to jump
think that
back to
necessarily.
Z.
Well, the thing is that that's an example where motivation or knowing someone stronger or like just seeing stronger beings and training, right, can get a character stronger than what they normally should be. But do you just agree with that in general? Not even that example in Super, just the idea that, oh, the characters in Dragon Ball in general can have the capability when they see a foe stronger than them. Examples of seeing characters train after seeing Cell, Frieza, even the Saiyans.
Why
I
can't
call all the
well, okay,
humans.
so my question to you would be, why can't these characters just get that strong in the first place?
Well, I'm saying
Like,
over
there's multiple examples of Krillin getting power boost, like, during the, Namek saga,
about months of
like
years.
hold up. I'm trying to this applies. This matters. Shit like this matters because it plays into the effect of their battle power later on, right? He strives because his full potential is unlocked, okay? And got like another potential unlock later in the Boo saga. You remember that?
Clarify. I'm talking about characters seeing these powers and then training for months or a year after that. Like an example would be the humans in Dragon Ball just surpassing all the power we see in OG Dragon Ball after a year of training for the Saiyan Saga because they see someone like Raditz, right? I'm using that as an example. And then there's a later example in Dragon Ball Super where it's like it's just adding consistency to what we already saw in Dragon Ball Z as an example. And then Piccolo making that statement after 3 years, after these characters have been training for this and prepping for this, after knowing power levels like Frieza exist, like Trunks exist, and like Goku exists, or be on the same playing field as Goku right now. But the idea of Goku after years of training wouldn't really be too far fetched given what we already have established, like in Dragon Ball. And what I'm saying is, I'm talking about
Okay,
months to
the
years of training.
one
I'm not getting a
you've made a
rage boost or
point.
like Krillin
You've made a
potential
point.
boost.
I've gotta attack that. I've gotta attack that. Okay. Point. See his power level time 50. Okay. While I will agree that yes, these power they can catch up to these powers with training, the amount of time that they were given wasn't significant enough. And even then, they still needed to do more training because it still wasn't significant enough. And
Oh,
it
I'm not
wasn't
talking
because
about
of
just getting
Jiro,
relative to
it
the
wasn't
androids. I'm just talking about
like
at least surpassing the Namek Saga characters. That's already it.
right.
Based on the Piccolo, I'll get the exact Piccolo statement.
You can get
Is this anytime to
Piccolo
catch up?
you can get Piccolo saying that if you're not Frieza, if you're not able to fight Frieza, don't come along. But like I said, I've already argued, and I feel like I've attacked that really well. That's within the context of the information that they were given. They can't even sense the androids.
Well, why would it matter? Why would the androids matter if their reference point is Frieza? If the reference point is Frieza and they're coming along because they believe because they're stronger than Frieza, sure they can
Because
still be way unprepared for
it's
the.
the context no, it's the context of what androids they're talking about. Trunks is not talking about Dr. Gero in 20, he's talking about androids 17 and 18. Prove that
Well,
he's
yeah.
talking no. You need to prove that he's talking about Dr. Gero
Why would
and
I
Android
wait?
20 because that's
Why
the
would it matter
context of
which one
what
he's talking about? But the issue is that
because it does matter. It does matter in the context of the story because those are the two androids that beat his fucking ass over and over again, killed his master, destroyed the race, and sent like them into near extinction. So yes, it matters because those are the androids he's talking about.
well the thing is that Piccolo is specifically pointing out surpassing Frieza. So sure they can train for way stronger androids, and if point training for someone way stronger than Dr. Gero
Which
and
form of
Android
Frieza
20.
was he talking about?
Well, okay, so if he's talking about Frieza in general, would I think he would be in reference to
He could be
Namek
talking about
Final
first
Form
form.
Frieza?
He could be talking about
Why
first
would he
form.
be talking about first form? If we're okay, so the thing is that given the
Second,
context that
he was only competing with second form. Third form kicked his ass. What form was he talking about?
well, let me get a scan real quick of Piccolo training with Goku. This can like help my
That's fine,
interpretation.
but with his contact of Frieza, do
Well,
you
okay,
know what context he's
the
referring
re-
to?
well the reason why I
He didn't
mentioned
even get to
Piccolo
fight.
training with Goku.
He didn't even get to fight
Well,
final form
the
Frieza.
reason why I'm bringing up Piccolo training with Goku is that if Piccolo trains with Goku, right, who Frieza's power, right, Piccolo would at least have the reference point. Like if like think about it like this: if Goku and Piccolo are training for 3 years, at some point Goku, because he loves fighting, is going to talk about his fight with Frieza and talk about how strong this guy was, right? So Piccolo should have a vague idea of how strong Namek Frieza is. We can say that sure there can be some margin of error, whether it be lower or higher, but I don't think it would be below second form Frieza. It should still be way higher. I doubt Goku's going to be
Do
a
you
hundred times or 50 times
whoa.
off.
Real question. Do you dead
Yeah.
ass believe that sparring is on the equivalent of a death match?
No, not necessarily, but what I'm saying is that if Piccolo
Okay,
and Goku are
so
training
now
and
that you've
Goku goes Super
agreed,
Saiyan,
hold up, now that you've agreed, it's different. It's different in context. Because if we were going by that, like a lot of the very clearly weaker characters who don't scale to even minute villains shouldn't be losing.
what Android 20 and 21, as well as Android 18 and 17, because they're stronger than those characters, could simply just be vastly stronger than Namek Goku and Namek Frieza. I don't really see an issue with like let's say Goku and Piccolo training. Goku shows let's say powers up into Super Saiyan. Frieza's about this strong, right? And that's what Piccolo trains for. And that's what and Piccolo at some point, right? Piccolo's like trying to make sure everybody's like getting as strong as they can. Piccolo, I feel like I have reason to believe Piccolo at some point, or Goku, just given their character, would at some point go to the other humans and demonstrate, not fight them, but at least show them. Yeah, so Frieza's about the strong, either powering up to Super Saiyan, or just lowering or increasing the level around what Frieza is, right? So the humans I have reason to believe would likely know and have at least an estimate on how strong Final Form Frieza is. So sure, right? We can say, for argument's sake, like at worst, right? They're weaker than that Frieza. Dr. Joe one shots these characters that would just make them equal to that Frieza who is below Namek Goku. But I'm using two characters, right? Like you saw how a relative Namek Goku and like Frieza were going with for a bit, even though Namek Goku was 30 million points stronger, right? So even if we say these characters are somewhat weaker than that version of Frieza, these are two characters in 2v1 who have the ability to absorb ki, right? If they're teaming up on Goku, at some point they're going to grab him and take some of his energy, which will weaken him a bit, and they can use that energy against him, right? They're not in a situation like
Prove that he won't do the same thing Vegeta did to him.
I think you would need to prove that that version of Goku is as strong as that version of Vegeta.
I don't need to prove that. I'm asking
Why?
you to prove why Goku wouldn't just do that.
Well, for Goku to be able to do that, he would have to be as strong as that version of Vegeta. Because for all we know, that version of Vegeta could only be able to do that because he's vastly stronger than Namek Goku. So, like, sure, Namek Goku could still be
Why does
stronger. I'm
he
not even saying
why does he have to, like,
I,
stronger? Why can't he be
I'm not saying
comparative?
he necessarily has to be. I'm saying like
No, you
he
just said
could
he
be. We
was
don't know,
stronger. No, you
huh?
said he has to be stronger.
No,
So
wait, did I say has? Okay, let
yeah,
me
yeah,
clarify my
no,
argument.
you
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
I said something by accident. So what I'm saying is that we don't necessarily know how much stronger Vegeta is compared to these androids. He could just be like vastly stronger than Goku, maybe, or he could just be as strong as that version of Goku. We don't know, right? I mean, I would assume, given that it's the next arc, and given all the training and stuff like that, and
So,
what we see
do you
him compared
know
to Goku.
okay, wait,
Can I clarify this?
can you know, 'cause Rick needs to be because we're gonna go into a circle because I'm gonna like stop it right here. Do you know the power level difference between Goku from the Namek saga of the Android slash Future Trunks saga?
We don't really know exactly
We
how
do
much, right?
because we
Is
could
there
take
an
from the
exact
we
statement?
could yeah because okay we actually have a thing
Wait a
called
minute.
Dragon
Wait a
Ball Z
minute.
Kakarot.
I have a question. Are you gonna
Yes.
use the whole the in order to go relative or at least like mid diff character, you have to be like 1.25 times stronger and then use some induction based off that?
No,
Because I
because
have
you're
seen someone calculate that.
no, because you're downplaying Goku. So I'm proving to you that the downplay isn't that much. It's not that much
Downplaying
by
which version of
comparison.
Goku?
You're
Which
downplaying Namek Goku. You're downplaying Namek Goku. So I'm telling you that the power level difference between the start of the Android saga and the end of the Namek saga Goku is not that much, and it's only a difference of
can
200,000,
I see
dude.
the power levels? Can I see the power
Yes,
level scans for okay.
yes. I now so are before, right? Have you ever heard of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot?
Yeah, I think some aspects of it are canon and some aspects are not, right? So it's like, just imagining to some extent has explicit priority over everything else. Like if there's a contradiction, right? Let's say there's a contradiction
Right.
within the plot there for an event to happen. I'll just take the manga over that. But if there's something that doesn't really contradict or that with something else, we can maybe take it, but but I think there would still need to be context within that, right? So if I don't know, Z Broly showed up, I'm just gonna ignore that. If Xenoverse characters show up, I'm just gonna ignore that, right? Something like that as an example.
Yeah, no, like I'm not bringing up Xenoverse or anything like that. I'm only talking about stuff that's within the consistency of the manga and anime.
I mean, I've always been of the opinion, especially because I think the characters actually get way stronger throughout the series. I'm playing Namek Goku, right? I just think, what is it? I just think they get a lot stronger. There's actually official power levels. I'm curious now.
Yeah. So hold up, I'm grabbing it because I wasn't ready to debate today, but you got me in the mood
Oh,
to it. So just give me one
okay.
second. I will say I did come unprepared, but I'm not gonna lie to you about it.
Because another reason, because in my opinion, I think those power levels actually might conflict. Because the thing is that at the end of the day, I still think go like Piccolo has some basis on how strong Final Form Frieza is, right? And he should still be able to tell someone stronger than that version of Frieza, and character and the human should at least have some basis to know how strong that Frieza is to be somewhat
Okay,
stronger, at least relative with
so
him.
once again, I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna make it as simple as I can. One, they can't sense the androids, okay?
That wouldn't matter. That wouldn't matter
Yes, it
because we're not
does.
talking about the
They
androids.
yeah, because in
Okay,
context no, hold up. No, no, you need to let me so, within the context of the argument that you're arguing here, because they think the androids have about to start raiding, right? That's what's going on. So Piccolo then says, if you think you can't take on Frieza, don't come along, right? That's not him like saying that they are Frieza level, right? And once again, different androids that they think they're gonna be running into, right?
okay, wait.
That's what I
How
said.
does
The
this connect to
context
Wait, but like what I'm trying to get at is why would that context necessarily matter here? If we're saying, oh yeah, if you don't think you can take on Frieza, right? If you that's all you don't think you could take Frieza, like for all we like, let's say that they were preparing for was like I don't really think that would like change the context whatsoever. What I'm saying is, if you don't think you can take on Frieza, which simply means if you're not Frieza level or around that tier of power, don't come, right? Because obviously they've been warned among androids, Android 17 and 18, right? So, so the thing is that given even with that context, right? Okay, it doesn't really mean anything. I don't really think it matters who they're training for. If Piccolo's saying, yeah, be if you're on that level, if you're on the level of Frieza, if you're not, then go, right? This doesn't really matter who they're fighting against. It just simply means that, yeah, it's simply saying characters who are on par with Frieza can come, and characters who are not Frieza cannot, right? And as we see,
No,
Android 20 is able to.
I simply disagree because like you've established, they were warned about two specific androids, right? And when 20 and Jiro came up, they thought those androids. And then Trunks had to come up and be like, those are not the androids. Literally, like
How, but like the thing is connect with the argument that they're not Frieza level.
because
That's why, like,
because it disconnects the idea. Because you're using this as a way to establish power for these characters. By the way, can't sense. And if they can't sense it,
how,
they
I'm
can't
not
gauge
established.
it.
Wait. All I'm saying, right, is that it's stated that characters who went along with Piccolo are stated on the level of Frieza that has nothing to do with the androids. And all I'm saying is because of this, Jiro being able to one shot Yamcha would scale him to that version of Frieza, and Android 21 being around that same level with
Okay,
Goku. Yet
I'm gonna
winning
put it in a
overall.
different way. I'm gonna put it in a different way. I'm gonna put it in a different way.
Okay.
Trunks came from the future. Body still with me. Yeah. Yeah? Okay.
What? Yeah,
Then
body Frieza.
Trunks
Yeah.
no. Stick with me, okay? Then Trunks warns about androids that he can't beat. Okay? Piccolo is a smart motherfucker. He could just be like, okay, this guy beat the dog shit out of Frieza, and then these androids beat him. Alright? Just because people are going along to fight doesn't necessarily mean that they're on that level anyways. Do you think that because they pull up on the Cell Saga that they're all Cell level? No,
No,
that's
because
not how
nothing in
it
there.
fucking works. No.
The thing you just said about Cell, that I don't. I think this is like disanalogous because there's not. It's not like there's a statement about, oh, if you come to the Cell games, make sure you're Cell level. No, because it's specifically just
How is
Goku
it
and Gohan and everybody
disanalogous?
else. Okay, so it's just analogous because when you bring up Cell, there's no statement there during right. Meanwhile, we have a
Okay,
statement
no,
for
no, I've
character.
given you a
No, but
situation on which
the
they
issue
pull
is
up.
that the issue is that the statement that Piccolo gives is an arc after the Frieza arc. It's 3 years after the Frieza arc, and all he's simply stating. I don't see how you're making this commitment doesn't follow
Okay.
with your interpretation.
Let me ask you this. So when Vegeta says that he's gonna beat Frieza, does he beat Frieza?
No, but that's very
Because
egotistical.
we call narrative. Okay, characters can be wrong. Okay, that's fine. What's wrong with that?
But like, do we? But like, how does your contextual interpretation justify why Piccolo isn't fallible, why he is why he is fallible, right? He can be fallible, but why in this case is he wrong? Like the issue is that your arguments that
Literally
you've
one sentence. They can't sense their ki.
how okay, why would that matter?
He can't sense
Why would that
he
matter?
can't
The
sense
power.
the android's
Okay, Simon,
energy.
I'm just gonna serve it.
I've literally repeated this like 3 times.
Can you repeat what you just said? Simon interrupted. Uh,
I said I said that they can't sense their ki, therefore they can't make a gauge on the strength. And if they
we're not
can't make
making a
the gauge
gauge
on the
on the android
strength, hold
powers.
up. And if they can't make a gauge on the strength, Piccolo is just assuming. And an assumption can be wrong. And if he's just assuming,
He's not
your
making an
entire
assumption on the
backline,
androids.
hold up, your entire backline is just destroyed.
Wait,
So
but like
no.
the issue
So
is that you're not okay.
unless you
How
can
does this?
prove,
The issue is that it doesn't logically follow with your negation of my proposition. Because sure, okay, sure, we can let's say that yeah, they're talking about the Android 17 and 18. They're preparing for this, but all Piccolo's saying is she's only talking about Frieza. This has no correlation with the androids whatsoever. Your argument has no correlation with my argument. Do you want? Listen,
no.
do you want me to get someone in here and maybe we can like break it? Maybe we can ask them who's like right about this because what I'm trying because you want me to get someone in here because
So
it seems like your argument
you're
does
appealing to an audience now. Okay.
no not appealing to an audience.
Yes.
No, because it's someone who wouldn't have heard this. I'm asked because what I'm trying to because I don't think we're understanding each other's arguments. So it's like
No,
we're just gonna go in circles.
I completely understand yours. You just super easy. So I'm gonna yes.
Okay. My
Go ahead.
argument is that given Piccolo states, okay, so Piccolo states that do not come to this fight if you're not on par with Frieza, right? Has no correlations with the androids. All he's saying to the humans is that, yeah, do not come to this fight if you're not on par with Frieza. Given this, Yamcha being on par with Frieza, Yamcha coming to this fight means that he's on par with Frieza, and the reason why why Piccolo would know how strong Frieza is he likely knows, given that he's training Goku. Goku would at one point show like Super Saiyan form and show and power up to where it's like Piccolo. This is the power we need to surpass because dude is getting bodied by these androids, and we need to prepare for this, right? And that's simply it. So they're preparing to surpass a level that's way beyond Frieza. And at some point, since the humans are training as well, either Goku or Piccolo, given their character, would likely also come in to join the train, at least give them advice or tell them, hey, this is how strong Frieza is. This is the power you got to surpass. Not to mention they can sense ki, so they'll also sense Goku and Piccolo just training, even if it's like a normal casual sparring. They can still sense that huge Frieza level power and beyond. And given that the human how strong Final Form Frieza and Namek Goku are, given that stating, yeah, if you're not on par with Frieza, don't come. Given that they come, this would imply that yeah, they're on par with Frieza. They can be weaker, equal, or stronger than him, but in some way they should be relative with Frieza. And given this, it has no correlation with the androids, right? This all this simply means is that the humans after 3 years have trained to reach this level, and because of this, I have reason to believe Yamcha is that strong. Therefore, because Android 21, not 21, Android 20 is capable of just one-shotting Yamcha, he would scale to Frieza, and because it's a 2v1, and these
How
two
do you okay,
characters seem to be
first of all, no, you just made a claim. Stop. Okay?
what
If you're gonna make a
what claim
claim,
did I make?
you made a claim saying that Yamcha should scale to Frieza. Prove that.
Yeah, wait,
That's not
that's been the entire
this
topic.
is not proof. This is not proof. I need proof that
Okay,
Android
so you want the
Saga.
Piccolo statement?
No, Piccolo is not a good stand here. One, you can't prove that Yamcha knows how strong Frieza is.
I
Okay?
just gave an induction on why he likely would know, and why the humans and
No,
Goku and
yeah,
Piccolo
that's an
would like know how
induction.
strong.
That's an induction.
And
Okay, and you need to
it's
prove that
giving
that's
it's
complete.
using
Hold up,
why
fucker.
would I really
Damn.
need to prove it?
Damn. Let a motherfucker speak. Damn. Okay. Now,
Also, Simon, can you shut
one.
up? Like, if you're gonna say, wait, like, shut up, it's
He's
actually
not
getting
even
annoying.
served for me
You know what? I'm just
What are
gonna
you
okay. I'm just gonna
doing?
time out Simon just for rage waiting.
No,
Continue.
don't time out Simon. No, what the fuck?
No, Simon keeps Simon keeps every time I debate, right? He'll like who's winning, yet he'll never justify judgment. Simon does something similar to Goji, where he just talks crap about people that are better
Okay,
than him.
well,
I'm
no,
sorry, it's
okay,
just annoying.
okay, that's fine. But he's watching the debate. Let him back in. Focus on me. You can focus on
Yeah.
him later. You're debating me, so let him back in.
Just annoying. That's all. But yeah. Who was talking?
So,
You
okay,
were right.
yeah, I was about to start. Okay, so my argument is is that there are characters that have zero context of Frieza and have only met him one time. The one time I will give you context on what characters be confident of how strong Frieza was is literally Vegeta, Krillin, Piccolo, fucking Gohan, because Gohan was there, yeah. Like
let me
those
actually think Yam.
yeah,
I
because
think Yam
those
was there.
characters were like on the planet for more than just like an appearance that was more than 5 minutes. Okay, they got to feel
Give
out
me.
Frieza, like because Frieza actually charged up and shit on there, so they
Give me a
feel
second.
him.
I think Yamcha was also there with them.
On Namek? No, he wasn't. No,
No,
he
no,
wasn't.
not on
Not on
Namek.
Namek.
I'm talking about Cyborg Frieza.
Yeah, Cyborg Frieza who hasn't even powered up and then gets sneaked. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They should at least know. They should at least have an idea of half his power. And also, you mentioned this thing about like my induction not being valid. Not, but let me get the Yamcha's with Cyborg. Yeah,
It's
well,
fine,
Frieza in that
but
state alone.
like I said,
Wait,
hold up.
wait.
You,
Frieza
no, no, no,
has
no, no,
forms
no,
to
no, no, no,
suppress
no,
his.
no, 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 no. No, you said. Okay, you're attacking my argument, but you need to attack the full argument. I said, yeah, an untrying Frieza who then gets sneaked by Trunks because he's not trying. He's like he thinks everyone there is pathetic because he's looking for Goku. There's context to that situation that you're just outright leaving out.
Okay. I'm going to bring up something. Frieza literally has transformations in order to suppress his power. I don't think he has key control like characters like Goku. I think at that state he would have 60 million
Huh?
power level, right? Just at that state.
If he
Yeah,
didn't have
I
fucking
don't
key
think Frieza.
control, he'd be blowing up the planet casually.
That's why his transformation.
What?
That's why his trans. Yeah, like Frieza. Frieza's base form is the final form. You see, transformations are
Yeah,
simply to
yeah,
suppress his
yeah,
power.
and then Form has a statement saying he can destroy the fucking universe. Explain how blowing up planets then. What's key control?
Okay, well, there's two forms of key control in terms of like
No,
destructive
what's key
capacity.
control?
Key, like, yeah, I'm
And
key
then
control right
Krillin, and
now.
then
There's
Krillin,
two
and, like,
there's two
yeah.
variations of key control. There's two variations of key control that we see within the series. Key control, as in the energy that you can sense in the energy, like your not even doing an attack, just like your aura, right? The aura that we see, and then key control destructive capacity. So yeah, he can have the power to destroy the universe and not be able to control the key control in terms of how much power people can sense from him, right? Not to mention, think about it like this, right? A gun, right? I'm pretty sure it's been calculated to be like wall level if we were to use scaling logic, right? Um, he has lasers, right? These lasers don't have to have destructive capacity on the universe. It doesn't even need key control. It can just be like, imagine a gun that has universal AP. Something it could be akin to that. I don't really see an issue with that.
Okay,
And like,
so
if it's possible within like real life, and if something like that's like completely possible within real life, I mean, I don't like, or at least like somewhat possible in terms of like something similar, right? The idea that it also would happen on that level in Dragon Ball, let alone with that context, is like not too absurd to say.
okay, it is kind of absurd to say. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I was laughing. It is absurd to say. So, first thing is
I mean,
that
I'm not
one.
even saying
So hold
Frieza
up,
has universal AP.
hold up,
I'm not even
hold
granting that Frieza
up.
has universal
I'm
AP.
in
I'm
the
just saying
middle of a
if
sentence
he
here.
did, if he did, I
Okay.
mean, it's just
Okay. So, first of all, key control works both ways, and you agree that it exists. So I don't need to continue on that. You
okay.
agree
Yeah, but
it
like,
exists.
I believe the
So
humans can at least gauge, and then right, and then you can like bring up your whole like the issue with my induction. So do you agree, at least the humans know
I'm going
at
into your
least?
induction right now. I don't go
Okay,
into
so
anything further on it.
okay,
We agree.
so
We
that we
don't because
got it.
you agree. Yeah, because we agree key control can be defined to lower power, and it can also be used to control area of effect attacks. Yeah? We agree on that?
Uh,
That's key control.
yeah, and like
Yes?
yeah, in terms of like power, you can like that would be
Okay,
sensed, right?
and
It's like power level
now
compared
the
to
thing I
destructive
have to
capacity.
attack okay, and the reason why I have to jump in at you so much is you actually shotgun quite a bit. So I have to attack multiple points here. So you then made a claim saying that Frieza's forms are just for him to nerf himself. You do know that they also like power him up and give him boosts, right? And that's also an
Well, that's
aspect of
later
key
on in
control.
Super. Well, that's also yeah. Well, the thing is that Frieza's key control like is a bit different in general. But
Prove
when
that.
it comes to well, it's the fact that he has transformations lower in general is different from any form of other key control other characters have. Right? It's just
How is
it's just vastly
hold
different.
up. No. You cannot just answer my question with another claim. So now you need to prove that claim. Yes, you do. You need to
Which
prove that
claim?
Frieza, Frieza's race is like different in the use of their key control like that. Because if
I
not,
never asserted anything about his race.
yes,
I'm
but
just saying. I
implying
mean,
that
I guess other
you're
characters in
implying
his race
that
can do
him,
that.
but you're implying that him being like
I mean,
in his first
it's
form is a different form of key control. Can it not just be a
well,
powered
it's
down
different from
state so that so that he
yeah, that's
doesn't
the
like
thing. That's the
casually
thing.
like
Power is what the only thing is a
not
different
different?
transformation, unlike other characters. Yes, it is. That's
What
different
the fuck
because
do we call Super
the
Saiyan then?
reason why Super Saiyan is a transformation, but it's not like he's suppressing his power. Like base Goku
Okay,
is
so
base Goku.
what
Base Frieza,
what
final form Frieza is his base form.
question? What do we call Frieza's forms? What do we call them?
Uh, they're transformations, but I think you're misunderstanding what I
Transformation?
mean. Okay, the
No.
reason okay, I think
I
you're
think
misunderstanding what I'm saying.
you're having a
Okay, you're
little
misunderstanding. I'm saying that Frieza's
no,
final
I'm
form,
not.
or the thing we quote unquote call the final form, is supposedly his base, right? And that this base form, right, has deformation or deform or like transformations that instead lower his power, right? So, for example, Frieza's first form, it's simply a way that's his power. His Frieza's transformations is how he suppresses
You
his
know
power,
his
right?
first form has
And
the universal statement, right?
doesn't really necessarily matter. I don't think
Why
it's relevant to the
can't it
conversation.
just be can't it just be steps of him like releasing his ki? Why can't it just be that?
What do you mean? I'm just saying that's his suppression. That's how
Well,
he suppresses his power, right? And then he can release his
because
ki.
the way you're putting it, you're complicating it, right? You're taking us on
Huh?
this long ass tangent that's gonna get us nowhere. So I'm just gonna like break it down and cut straight to your point, okay? So if you want to argue that Frieza's key control is different from any other like person in general, you're gonna have to argue more than just transformations because transformations all in themselves are different for
Well,
each
I think
race. And then
his
on top
applications
of
of his
that,
transformations are
on
different from like
top
other
of that,
application transformations
on
of
top of
characters.
that, you then have to make that assumption with his entire race, which I don't
Why
think
would
you
I? I
can.
mean, there could be other characters in this race that okay, so okay, let me clarify because I think you're misinterpreting what I'm saying. The
No,
way
I'm
he
not.
uses his transformations is different than how other characters use their transformations. It's a way to apparently suppress his power. The reason why I'm saying it's a suppression is
Yeah, but you're
because
saying it's
Frieza's final
different key
form is
control, so I need you to
considered
prove
his
it's
base form.
different
It's
from
considered
regular
his
key control.
true form. This means that the transformation has his weak than his base. It's not like Super
How is
Saiyan
that
where
different from Goku transforming from
well,
Super
okay,
Saiyan? How is it any different?
well, is Super Saiyan base Goku? Do we call base Goku? I mean, he like his base, but in general, like Saiyans are
Mm,
born with black hair,
I like
are
how you
born
got
as.
it,
I'm
so I'm gonna ask you again.
not dodging the question.
What okay, yeah, you did. So what do we call Goku de-transforming from Super Saiyan? Is
He's
that like
going
a
back to
different
his
form of
base, but when
yeah, but
When Frieza
is
goes
that a
from first
different
form
form
to
of
final
key
form,
control?
that's him going to base.
Is that
When
a
Frieza
different
goes from
form of
first
key
form to
control?
final form, is
Or
yeah.
is that just key control?
Well,
It's just key control.
well,
That's just what
yeah,
it
but
is. It's just key
it's a
control. It's
different
not a
application of key
different
control
form.
within this context.
It's yeah, it's
All
just
I'm saying
key
is that Frieza's
control.
transformations. Listen, all I'm claiming, all I'm saying, right, is that Frieza's transformations, right, Frieza's transformations that we see are instead of it being like, oh, he goes from his base form to get stronger. He's going from his base form to a first form to be weaker, right? So he's not, all like instantly killing everybody or something like that. And whether that he's universal, whatever, doesn't really matter. And all I'm saying is that when he transforms, right, he's simply going back to his base form, which is a bit different in context to Goku going from Super Saiyan to base form because that's Goku's base. It's not. It's like the equivalent of
Okay,
like for example, Goku going from Super Saiyan
that
to
there
base
is just
form is
one
more like
issue with
Frieza
that.
turning off the
There's just
Golden.
one issue with that. Frieza himself fucking disagrees with you and calls it his final form.
Well,
He
okay, but then
fucking
later
disagrees
on,
with you.
later on,
He
okay, let me get the
disagrees with
scan.
you, okay? Frieza
Let me
himself
get the scan where it
disagrees with
says
you.
Frieza final form.
If
This
if
is
if
base.
fucking Frieza is calling it his final
Yes.
form, then it's his
Well, yeah.
final
In
form.
contrast to his other forms. Well, in contrast to his other forms, I
Hell,
mean,
even in
technically, the
flashbacks,
semantics.
he's in his first form. Why can't it not just be his relaxed state? Why does his final form have to be his base form? That makes no
Oh,
sense.
here, let me
If it was his base, it
let
wouldn't
me
be called his final fucking
yeah,
form.
dude. Let me get these scans. Here, I'm getting multiple scans. The clear because I think you're misunderstanding what I'm trying to say.
I'm
But
not
I have multiple
misunderstanding.
scans.
You're trying to that Frieza's base form is final
Yes,
form.
the final form in this is a bit different from like what we would mean by final
Are
form.
we going back to a
Let
super
me just get.
argument?
I mean, I can like bring up super as like
Are
contextual
we
evidence, but I'm
going
not
back to a
bringing
super
Dragon Ball.
argument? Just yes or no?
Depends on where the scan is from, but I don't really that matters because we can use super as a contextual evidence for something in the past. If it like clarifies something that happened in the past, I don't really take an
Yeah,
issue
but
with
if
that.
only it can
Let me just
clarify in this instance within this particular like
final form
situation.
is actually freezes. Let me try it. I'm trying to. In essence, freeze up page. There. Find a. Give me a second, because I like I'm trying to skim through the entire Dragon Ball, like everything, but because let me just send this one scan for now, right? And find it as well. But like in this scan, Frieza says, or in my case, right? So a different case, right? Oh, because I become so powerful that I can't keep myself under control, right? So in this case, he transforms Vegeta. What's going on? There are things who change their shape as the need arises for camouflage to conserve energy. And then what Frieza says, or in my case, because I become so powerful that I can't keep myself under control. Simply meaning that, yeah, his transformations, because he can't keep himself under control, just simply means he, he uses his first form, right, as a weaker state than his normal form, which is called the final form, because I mean, at that point, it technically was right his final form. I mean, that's the strongest transformation. So the semantics of final form technically makes sense, right? Yeah, that's like if we're talking about a final like strong, yeah, his base would be his strongest form, right, in contrast to his other forms. That I don't really see an issue with that. But let me get the other character. Let me get the other scans.
Okay, so real quick, when you're bringing up because I become so powerful that I can't keep myself under control, like, does that matter or no? I can ignore that? Or are you bringing up
What did
that
you
up
say?
as
I
a
was
point?
looking for a scan. Can you repeat what you said?
The scan that you sent, how is this relevant?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm trying to find another scan right now where Frieza said that this is like where his final form is more like his true form because I think it was maybe in the anime. Let me check because they wouldn't really contradict anything. But given with
Okay, so
this
now we're
by itself,
talking true form?
yeah. Well, true form would be what we call final form, or what Frieza would also. It has different. Form we can call it final form. We can call it Frieza's base by technicality. Obviously, Frieza transforms in order to control his power. Right, that's what it stated. All that simply means is that yeah, Frieza de-transformed from what we would call final form to what we call first form. Right, but that's we use these semantics because that's what everybody would see from their perspective. Right, from Frieza's perspective, right, it'd probably be different. But he's like talking about like when Frieza explains that this is my third form, right? It's obviously in reference to what the perspective of the people he's fighting would be in thinking about, right? Because Frieza's trying to pretty much say, yeah, so this is like the first form that you would associate with me, right? This is like what everybody would see as my first form. On and on. I
Okay,
think
so
Frieza would
no,
instead
no,
in
okay,
this
okay,
case
so
be
real
talking.
quick, if you're going by that logic, then we have to go by base power, and that means a character's fundamental strength in their natural unenhanced state without transformations or power-ups. Okay, so that means it would literally be first form base. By definition, it would be first form.
Okay, if I
Hold up,
have the
no,
ability to
but
transform,
okay, look, I was about to make a point, bro. His true form can just be his true form. That's fine. Who cares?
like, yeah, that's his
That
normal state.
doesn't
That's just the
like
words.
no, that's not a normal state. Okay,
Well, okay,
clearly,
even
clearly
Frieza,
it's
like
not
Frieza now
if
treats
he's
that.
referring to it as his true form,
Okay,
and
the reason why Frieza.
it seems like they don't treat forms normally, okay,
Yeah, Frieza's
Or at
forms.
least Frieza doesn't.
Uh, okay, but the idea would be that if Frieza's doing this to suppress his power, right? These forms to suppress his power, in his final form, and I guess in reference to Cyborg Frieza, because this is what we were talking about, the Cyborg Frieza would have way much more power, right? He's not suppressing, like, if he was suppressing it, he would not be in Cyborg form. That's Cyborg Frieza would have way much more power than his third form, and would likely just be as strong as how he was, or stronger, if you because we've established that that version of Frieza is a bit stronger than himself in that state. Because when we see Frieza transform and just like
Yeah,
is like I think
I've
it's called
granted that
50%.
I've granted that he's stronger than regular form Final Frieza. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
granted
Okay.
that.
Yeah. That Cyborg Frieza would
I didn't
Cyborg
grant
Frieza
that over
if when he
100%
suppresses.
Frieza.
Well, yeah, that's fine. I'm talking about. I'm just saying Cyborg Frieza in general, right? Cyborg Frieza. If he were to suppress his power, he'd be in a different form. The fact that he's in it means he's not suppressing his power. And keep in mind, Frieza came with the intention of just blowing up the entire planet and wanting to kill Goku, right? So he doesn't really even have a reason to suppress his power because he's not throwing any attacks right now. So he can be at
Well,
full. He can be at
I
like
don't even think he
50% power.
can. Okay, first of all, I don't even think he can. Okay, because
Can what?
I don't even think he can suppress his powers because he can't transform. He is quite literally in pieces being held together by metal and cybernetics, okay? So you have to argue a whole different thing, but I'm not gonna go into the semantics on that because we're but we're gonna get back to it because I actually remember it. So just because Yamcha goes with Piccolo does not mean that Yamcha is correct his assumption that, oh yeah, I'm like Frieza level because he didn't even fucking throw a punch against Dr. Gero. And Dr.
Okay,
Gero
that
was
is
getting boxed up by Piccolo.
okay. That first of all, that goes on the basis of the previous claim I made, or like the induction I made before. And you said something about induction being like not valid. So you want to go on that point on why it's not valid? Because if
Oh,
induction is valid,
so you
given my
have
induction.
conceded that point. Okay, so you have conceded
No,
that
not
point.
conceding.
I
No,
just want
not
to make
conceding
sure.
that point because we're going to. If you're trying to go to a different point, right? I can actually use the point, the thing we're
Go
talking about
to a
right now,
different point.
as extra evidence or extra reasoning for my induction. But the thing in question currently, or well, beforehand, was whether or not induction itself is valid. That's what you said yourself. So we can go on that point, right? Because it wouldn't really matter what I say, right? If induction itself is valid, because none of my arguments would go through. So you go on
Okay,
with
so
induction itself, or
I
do you think my induction is wrong?
yes, I think your induction is horribly inaccurate.
Okay. What would you consider a valid in general for an argument?
Okay, so one, for that you would need direct scaling for Yamcha to be
Okay,
on a
direct scaling.
par.
The word direct
But
implies empirical.
direct scaling is not the fucking Piccolo statement. As I
Direct.
just
Okay,
said,
okay.
Yamcha could think
An
he's
induction
tough. No,
isn't.
no. Okay. Let me put it like this. So let's say I go into a gym, right? And I think I can take the biggest brolic black guy there. Okay. Just because I think that doesn't mean it's true.
But okay, but given the context of my argument, I'm saying there's like substantial evidence
Can you
for
prove that Yamcha's
why
a
he might be able to.
Can you prove that Yamcha is smart enough to induct that?
Okay, okay. It. First of all, my induction, right? I can elaborate. I can explain, re-explain my
No,
induction because my induction was that. Okay,
Attack my argument. Prove that Yamcha
that
is smart enough to do that.
I'm not claiming that Yamcha's inducing this. I'm saying that that there's an induction that we can make this induction that Yamcha likely knows,
Your whole
given other.
induction
In my
actually
view,
relies
yeah.
on
No, I can make it. What do you mean?
yes,
My
your
induction is
induction
completely different.
relies
And
on the
so,
fact that is
okay,
confident enough
you're,
to fight
what?
inbox Frieza. It's your whole
Here's my
argument.
induction. Yeah, here's my induction because I don't think you remember what I explicitly said for my induction. My induction
Remember.
was that was that Goku and Piccolo, while training, right? Goku at some point, in order to help Piccolo and show Piccolo the power that he needs to surpass, would he would at some point show off Super Saiyan, would at least show off what power level Frieza was at, right? Given their personalities, given that they're given like who they are, and they're trying to train to surpass his power, it makes sense that Goku at some point in their training would either go all out Super Saiyan, here, let me show you how much power I have, or something like that. But humans on Earth can sense this, like Yamcha, Tien, they can all sense. They can sense on Earth. They can sense this huge power. It's like, oh wow, so this is how strong this is. Not to mention, right? It's also likely at some point that Goku, right, would just go to the other humans, right, within these 3 years, seeing that they're training, whether it be helping them, at least show off that power. But even without that being the case, the humans that they also know, right, that they also know about they've sent Cyborg Frieza at least a bit. Even if, let's say, it wasn't at this full 60 million or 70 million power that that version of Cyborg Frieza would have, given that they also have that in mind, and given all of that, they at least should at least have some likely like understanding of at the bare minimum 50%, let alone 100% Frieza, let alone the fact that they also would have sensed how strong Goku is, who's stronger than Frieza, and all this other stuff. By sensing that across the Earth throughout 3 years of training, given that we've already established that motivation can also sometimes help someone way much stronger than what maybe someone would intuitively expect given prior, i.e., because I've listed this example before, you didn't really have an issue with this. I listed the example after OG Dragon Ball, during the Saiyan Saga, after the Raditz fight, all the Dragon Ball humans to surpass all the power levels from OG Dragon Ball multiple times over, right? In your training, compared to where they didn't get much stronger with a few years of training. So given this, given that, and given everything else, that it's likely that they would either at least have some form of knowledge on what level Frieza is, or at least have half his power. And given what's established within the series, it wouldn't even be too absurd that these characters would be capable of surpassing or at least being near that level. Because it's not like Yamcha necessarily has to be confident that he can beat Frieza, but if let's say but at least if he's like within some ballpark, like let's say, like I can list an example. Let's say he's 30 million power level weaker than Frieza, right? That's still 90 million power level. Yeah, and if he's getting one shot by Jiro, I mean that still puts Jiro within that similar ballpark, right? And I'm just like listing off an example. All we know is that he's within some relative ballpark. So it can either be weaker or stronger, but he's somewhat relative. This would apply to all the humans, as we see. But at the bare minimum, Jiro being above Yamcha means he would also be in a similar ballpark to Namek Frieza. And all in my win con for my character, I stated this in the beginning. He can either be strong, like each of my characters can each be stronger than your character, or at the bare minimum, when teaming up, they're either equal or stronger than your character in some way, or even slightly weaker, but still strong enough in order for them to drain Goku or use their powers in some way to beat Goku, given that it's a 2v1, right? And currently, your burden of proof, like within this entire debate, not the point itself, would be to either prove that Goku would just be strong enough to overpower both of them at once, have a counter to like the whole absorption thing, or I think, and you brought up something being able to do the same thing that Vegeta did to them. Just like listing off multiple examples of like burdens that you could have, right? You don't have to prove all of that as long as you're capable of proving one. Like you just like, does that make sense? I'm not shotgunning you. I'm just listing that you have multiple
Oh
burdens
no!
that if you
Like
can.
the whole point is one, they're burdens if you don't know about them, but you very clearly know what I'm talking about, right? So it's different if it's something you don't know what I'm talking about, and it's very different if I'm talking about character statements. But these are actions that you and me are both very very familiar with, okay? And these fights, in particular, are very they don't characters that don't last very long. So they're very rememberable in that sense. But if you want me to prove Vegeta flipping off the fucking
No, I want
Doughboy's
you to
arms, I
prove
can do
that
that.
Goku would be capable of doing the same thing to them, and that Goku would be able to beat them. Because I just
You
think at the
haven't? Okay,
bare
no,
minimum,
because you something even prove is even up at that level. You've gone on pure
what do you mean? I
speculation.
given
Gone on
okay,
pure
I give my
speculation, and
induction
I've
for
no,
Yamcha.
no,
Yeah,
no.
I've
I've let
explained my
you.
induction for
Okay,
Yamcha. So
here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tell you exactly what you told me, and then I'm gonna dismantle it. This argument again for the fourth time, and I'll do it a different way again. Okay? Because I've dismantled it 3 different ways now. All right? Because I've told you within the context, all right, within the context of the story, that wouldn't make sense. I already brought that up with the warning from Trunks, okay? 2, they can't sense their ki. 3, they think they're fighting different androids. Like, bro,
Wait, they can't.
it doesn't.
Wait,
No, it doesn't make
wait.
sense because
How
what
does
the
this attack my
assumption that
induction? How, wait, 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 wait.
because I'm
How
not done. I'm
the
not
power
done.
of the android
I'm not
attack my
done.
induction? That has nothing to do with my induction.
Retard. I'm not done. It has everything with yours. That was the whole point. Is your whole deduction involves this Piccolo statement, and then it involves
Induction.
Yamcha. No. It involves Yamcha being confident that he can possibly be in a ballpark with Frieza. That's your
And
whole
I gave my reasoning
argument.
that he
The
has
whole
to
argument isn't on a character's opinion of himself. So no, I
what?
will not
No,
take your
wait.
yeah, no, I'm
That's
not
that's
gonna
a
take
huge
your
that's a
argument with
huge
any validity
misinterpretation of my
unless
argument.
you
That's a
actually
huge
give me some
misinterpretation of my argument.
scaling.
What I
Like, I
said.
need some scale. I don't need this
Wait. No,
him
that's a huge
going
interpretation. Exactly what I
because
said.
if
No.
anything,
Here's what I
that's a
said. Here's
defeat.
what I
That's not
stated.
a feat for
No, what I
Jiro.
okay.
That's not a
Okay,
feat.
here
That's a
is what I
defeat for
stated.
Yamcha.
Yeah, okay, so
That just
here's what I
means your
stated. So what
scaling's
I
wrong.
stated
Why
is that
can't your
the
scaling just
induction
be
would
fucking
from
wrong?
that would be from
Like
the fact
your
that the
induction's
characters would
terrible. It's a
sense
dog
Goku,
shit
the
induction.
Piccolo would
It's
sense
like
Goku,
awful,
right?
dude.
And that Piccolo at some
Like
point
I'm not
would
gonna
know
lie.
how strong Frieza
Like
is
an
based on just
induction
like training with Goku, and the
requires like
humans
it
can
to
also
follow the story
sense
and to
that
come
power
to
as well.
that
Is there a
conclusion would
contradiction with
mean
that?
that
I don't
you're
see
like
any contradictions.
ripping
And
parts
given the
and
fact that at some
context of a
point within 3
story
years,
out.
given what I've already
All right, and then you're also
extrapolated
ripping
upon,
character
it
out.
seems to be
When has
likely the
Yamcha
case
ever been
that these
right? Didn't
characters.
Yamcha say he was
I'm
gonna
not.
body the
Yamcha doesn't
Saiyans and then
necessarily have.
afterwards
Yeah,
he get
yeah,
bodied by a
okay,
Cyberman?
yeah,
Like,
okay. Wow,
can't
you're
Yamcha
misinterpreting
just
my
be
argument.
wrong?
Yeah,
Like, what's wrong?
this is a misinterpretation of my argument. It's not
No,
reliant on
I've hit your
whether
argument, and
Yamcha
every
shoot.
time I put you in a corner, you fucking weasel to a different way of saying your
Okay,
argument. So
you're
I want you to
misinterpreting
bring
my
a
argument a
new
lot.
argument, or
You're
just don't
misinterpreting
fucking
my
argue
argument a
this
lot.
whole
All I
argument at
said.
all. Like,
Here's
bro,
what I
because
said.
like I have
Here's
argued
what I
the
said.
same
Okay,
fucking point
okay.
over
What
and
I
again.
said,
You're gonna
right, is
okay.
my
Here's what's gonna
character,
happen.
like
I'm gonna
Yamcha,
fucking predict
but
you.
at some
You're
point
gonna
spent.
bring up the fact that
Oh my
Piccolo
god,
says
dude.
that fucking that you don't follow us unless you can fight Frieza, and then afterwards Yamcha follows them. That's your whole induction, and then
Okay,
you say
here's why
because Yamcha's
Yamcha.
following
Okay,
them. No, hold
here's
up.
why
I'm done. I'm
Yamcha
not
would
done. I'm
have
not
that
done.
basis to
Then
understand.
because
The
Yamcha's
reasoning
following them, that he
why
has to be in
is
this
that
ballpark
first
with
off, right,
Frieza, right?
Goku training
That's
with
what you're
Piccolo would have
saying. That's your
showed off
whole
how strong Frieza
argument
is
for
just
getting
going
Jiro
to
this
that power
high.
level and just
So
getting
like
stronger.
you
The humans
can't get
sense
Jiro
across
this
the earth
high
how
unless you're
strong
basing
Goku
it off
would
of
be
anything
and
else.
sense that energy, right? So Yamcha would at least would actually have a basis just by sensing energy alone on how strong Frieza is just from sensing Goku on Earth when Goku's training with Piccolo, because there's a likelihood, given what type of people Goku and Piccolo are, that yes, at some point Goku would have either went
Didn't you
100%
say
or powered up
earlier that
100%,
Goku is
or at least
stronger
powered up
than
to a
Frieza?
Frieza
So how
level.
would he know how strong Frieza is if
Okay,
he's
yeah,
just sensing a stronger Goku?
well, okay, Goku can lower
So
his power level.
no,
Goku can lower
that
his
just
power.
doesn't make
Goku can
sense.
lower his power
That
level to
just doesn't
Frieza's
make
level while
sense.
training with Piccolo.
That just doesn't make
Training with Piccolo to
sense.
have Piccolo surpass Frieza, and then later on, right, the humans can sense the energy, and maybe at some point, right, I think my reasoning for why Goku could possibly done this as well is mainly when to train with other people, or at least when to like help the humans in some way, if they're also training and trying to get stronger. So at some point, Goku likely would have met up with other humans and also showed them close up. Yeah, this is how strong Frieza is by powering up either the Super Saiyan or just powering up in general to show. Yeah, so this is how strong. Right, so Goku can power up, lower his power in any way to match Frieza's power. Not to mention can sense Goku. They know Goku's stronger. So they would also have that basis of knowing how strong Goku is. A vague idea that's more closer than what you would think for how strong Frieza is, in which they can use that to get into the ballpark of Frieza. Because all Yamcha has to know is that he himself is within some ballpark within Frieza. He can be weaker than Frieza.
If I show
That's
you
fine.
moments
He's just
of
not extremely
Yamcha
much
just being
weaker than Frieza.
a fallible wrong
Okay, yeah,
character,
well,
would
okay.
that
Does
destroy
Yamcha
this?
have the
Would that
valid
destroy this
knowledge?
whole
Yeah,
argument?
did Yamcha had knowledge to know that he would actually be stronger? In this
Even
case, I
with
think
knowledge,
I have
he's
reason to
always
believe
been
Yamcha would
wrong.
have the knowledge. I think okay, within this instance, I think he has the knowledge to know that to know
And
how
he can
strong
still
Frieza
be
is and to know
wrong.
his power level. Do you think Yamcha is unable to sense other people's power level and compare it to himself?
I think he's able to do it. I think he's also an overly cocky character, which has been proven time and time
Okay, okay,
again.
but if Yamcha can objectively measure something to be greater than him, right? Even if he's cocky, right? He can be like, okay, yeah, I have no chance against this guy,
What's
or
cocky
at least
mean?
know that
Define
okay,
cocky.
if I'm within
Define cocky.
cocky would be thinking you're stronger than that
Definite.
person, but if he doesn't think he's stronger,
Nope.
like
Define
like if he doesn't
cocky.
think he's either stronger or can sense his energy,
Define
huh?
cocky.
Cocky
Define
can like be
cocky.
either egotistical or just thinking you're better, and then we can get the official definition. Definition. Uh, conceited or arrogant, especially bold or or impudent way. What other definition? What are
Yeah.
the other definitions?
Arrogant.
Conceit.
Conceited.
How is that?
Right.
No, that's different from
Proud.
ignorance.
Proud
Because
of
you can be
oneself. Vain.
okay,
Vain.
okay, but you can be arrogant, but be able to be like, for example, I'm 5 foot, and there's like an 8 foot guy who's really buff who like lifts all the time. I'm gonna be even fucking because it's like wow, I have no like my logical reasoning
That no.
or
That
at
would
least my
be the
instincts would
exact
tell me
opposite of being arrogant. You wouldn't be scared.
okay, okay, and arrogance that would be valid, or that for someone would be, oh, let's say I'm strong, right? For someone who's 5 foot, find someone who's 6 foot, right? And I can like them, given my, or at least like my arrogance is telling me I likely could. If someone's like 8 foot or something like that, right? I have no basis. Like, even if I'm arrogant, I'd still be scared, right? Or something like
No,
that.
because
And not to
arrogant,
mention,
by definition, is having or revealing an exaggerated sense of one's own importance or abilities. You wouldn't give a fuck about your actual stature. You'd still want to box the guy. That's what being arrogant is. It's being like overly cocky, an exaggeration. Like one would say, one with that with a god complex is fucking arrogant.
I
Okay?
mean,
So
okay,
like
what
you
instances
think
do you
you're
think
above
Yamcha is
this
being
one
overly
person.
cocky to where he'll make such a stupid decision? Because I can't really think of an instance where to that extent. In this case, so when comparing his power to Frieza,
Okay,
given
so
that I've
real
already
quick,
justified why he likely
if I
understands how
give you
strong Frieza
three
is.
examples off the top of my head right now of Yamcha being arrogant and then he gets his shit rocked, would that end
Uh,
this point?
I would prefer at least like context or like send the scan in this case because like maybe there was some
I'll do
justification.
that. I'll
Like
do
if he
that.
was like
I will get you every single one. I'll get you every single one.
okay, like if Yamcha was stronger to begin with, or at least relative, right? It's like I wouldn't even see that as arrogance. Like, oh, you're already relative with that person, so the idea that oh, maybe you could be a bit like just like happy or excited, right? Because he just loves a lot of characters in Dragon Ball love to fight, but that's different from arrogance where you're just objectively wrong. Like the
Okay.
arrogance I'm talking about in cockiness is like being just objectively wrong and just doing stupid decisions that have no logical basis whatsoever.
That's not what arrogance means.
Well, I'm saying that's the level of arrogance on where I'm talking about. I think that's a level of arrogance you'd
The
have to prove he has.
arrogance I'm talking about is to exaggerate one's ability. Okay?
Okay, to exaggerate one's ability to such an extent to where you're objectively wrong to like to an absurd level where it just wouldn't make any logical sense to a normal human being. Because given that Yamcha would know these power levels, some given like one that I've already given for why Yamcha like and all the other humans in Piccolo have a gauge of how strong Frieza is. That if Yamcha's just being objectively wrong, just can't like isn't like being like logical whatsoever, right? That's like the level of cockiness and arrogance that I want you to prove. Like he can, like if let's say he's fighting someone who's equal in strength to him, and he just like is like I guess egoing a bit, or just a bit, and he gets off guarded. I wouldn't really think that would justify your interpretation.
You're acting like I'm talking about off-guard moments. Hold up. Because I'm
No, I'm
getting
just
the
listing an example of
chapter
like
for it. Yeah,
I'm just
no,
like
I'm not.
elaborating on what I
Like
mean.
like like the stuff I'm getting is people he's run up on and then he's gotten his shit rocked by them. Okay. So, do I need to tell you about what Goku did to him?
Uh, in OG Dragon Ball.
Yep.
Uh, well, let's see. That's a version of Yamcha that wasn't capable of sensing energy whatsoever.
Don't care.
So,
Don't
and
care.
not to mention,
Don't care. That's not a part of the argument here. Don't care. We're listing Yamcha here as a fallible character. He was confident he
I
could beat the
think
out of
there's levels
Goku
of
in
being
this,
fallible.
and then Goku mollywopped him. Okay. Next, we're gonna talk about the Cybermen, right? Because he
You're right.
pulled up on the Cybermen, right? And I believe that was like in what chapter 215. Hold up.
What was Yamcha's power level at that point
That's not relevant towards the
compared
argument
to the
right now.
person? Okay,
Not
yeah, the reason why
relevant
that would be
towards the
relevant is
argument
that
right
if he's
now.
stronger than the Cyber, well, okay, if
It's
he's
not
stronger than the
relevant towards the
Cybermen, if
argument
he's
right now.
strong, okay, I'm explaining the relevance to the argument right now, so shut up.
It's
So
not
the reason
relevant.
why this is okay, it's relevant to the argument because if Yamcha has some power over them, right? He's not. It wouldn't be arrogance to the level that I'm asking for. What I'm asking for is to show that Yamcha would, let's say, level, if he objectively knows the truth on how strong he is compared to someone else, that he would still make the wrong decision. Sure, he can be wrong in instances. That's okay. But what I'm asking is if he knows the truth, how strong someone is compared to himself, and yet still does the wrong thing, or that would make any logical sense given that if that's what you that then sure I can see your interpretation for why Yamcha would even then still go out even if he's like way weaker, right? He can be wrong, he can be a fallible character. That doesn't attack my argument. What my
It
argument
does.
hinges
It
on
directly
hit
conflicts your
how
argument.
okay
What are you fucking
how
talking about?
for
Because your
Yamcha
whole
my
argument is
argument
reliant on a stance from Piccolo, and it's also reliant on Yamcha's actions. How the fuck does that not directly contradict your argument? No, you're just dodging, bitch. What the fuck are
how
you
does that
talking
how
about?
well, okay,
Yeah,
so the
no,
reason
you're
why it
just
wouldn't
dodging
contradict
the
my
the
argument
argument.
would be
Literally
because
contradicts
that
yours.
for my argument, for my
It
interpretation to be
literally
wrong, right?
directly
It would be
contradicts it, bro.
reliant. It would be inherently reliant for Yamcha to not only objectively know how strong he is, and yet still be wrong about that given
It's
objective
not that
measurements.
no, it's not.
Okay, if Yamcha
My
objectively
point,
has
no,
an
you're clear.
idea, if
You're
Yamcha objectively
misrepresenting my
knows and
point
has
to the
an
highest
idea,
degree, and
if
it's
Yamcha
so
objectively knows
crazy.
and has an idea of how strong he is compared to someone else, and objectively has, let's say, I don't know, a range of how strong this being is, to know that yeah, I can be weaker, but I'd still be in this ballpark, right? Because like here's the thing, Yamcha doesn't even have to think he's strong; he just has to think he's this ballpark, right? So he can, so like that's. So it doesn't even hint on him thinking he's stronger. He just has to be within the ballpark. So he can be weaker for all I care, right? As it simply means he has to be within some ballpark. So, given that Yamcha would have the idea of this ballpark, given that my argument hinges being within the ballpark, it seems to be that it seems to be that for my by Yamcha being given evidence, right, something that's let's say objectively true, him about his opponent,
You're
then still
fucking
doing
no,
something
you're
that is
joking.
just that is just wrong, and that would just like make no logical sense. Yes, that's what my argument. That would is what you need. That's literally your burden right now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what's the issue with what I'm saying right now? What is the issue with what I'm saying right now?
Okay, so
Yeah, he can be
the
fallible,
issue
but
with it is that we're
there are
going
levels of
underneath
being
the
fallible.
assumption that you've combated my argument. I have straight given you evidence, right, of
Hey, you gave
being
me an example of him
arrogant,
being
right? No, no, no,
fallible.
no, no, no,
There
no,
are
no,
levels of
no,
being
no,
fallible. What do you
no,
mean? There are
no,
levels of
no.
being
How?
fallible.
Okay,
You can
motherfucker,
be
you're not
fallible
precogging
to.
what I'm saying. You
Okay,
can
you can be
calm down. You
fallible.
are
Like
not
you just
Madara
did not
Uchiha. You don't have
we
the
just did not have
Renegon.
the for
So,
example, right?
so calm
For
down, buddy.
example, yes,
All right. So
fallible.
I'm know
Given
that
objective
if I'm
information,
telling
given
you
what is
your
objectively true,
character
that
is
Yamcha is
fallible
wrong
and
even
can be
after being given the
wrong, and I
objective
give
information.
you multiple
Okay, it
instances
doesn't
of your
matter if he
character
can
being wrong,
be
it's
wrong.
more
Why does that mean
likely
he's
that my
likely to be wrong? It
interpretation of your
doesn't.
character is
Okay, why would
wrong
it be more likely
about
in
how
this case? You're just
strong
saying
he is.
he
And
can
the
be wrong,
reason why you're
but what
not
I'm
getting my
asking you to
point is
prove
you're
is that he
so
would have to
busy
be
trying to overtalk
infallible
me and you're not trying to listen to
given
my
objective
point.
metrics.
Because like the thing
Yeah,
is
I
you
already have
say
listened
you
to your
don't try to
point. The issue
shotgun,
with your
and then you
argument is that
make
you're just
6
trying to
different
say he
points, and
can
then
be
I
wrong,
have
but
to
that
go
doesn't
back and
necessarily mean
attack those
anything. What I
points.
need you to
So
prove is that
I'm
he's
having
either
a
likely wrong
fun
or
time right
is
now
wrong within
tracking
that
what you're saying because
situation,
you keep on changing
given
your
given
like
some, I guess, set
stance.
of evidence.
At
I've already
first, it
justified
was about the
why,
Piccolo
the reason
thing.
why him being
Now
fallible
it's
is, like,
about
for
Yamcha's
example,
confidence. And now it's
in
not even
reference.
about
Okay,
that. If it's
okay,
not
dude.
about Yamcha's
Okay, dude.
confidence, where does your fucking argument even
Okay,
come from?
I've already explained
No,
this
you
multiple
haven't
times. I
explained
will.
anything.
I will explain. I'll explain this
You
again.
haven't
Right.
explained
So
I
an
will
idea,
destroy and
Yamcha is
fucking
able
eat.
to get Yamcha. I already gave my induction and reason why he likely would know how strong this character
And I'm
already
telling
is,
you, I'm
and
not
why.
taking that because I'm telling you your
Yeah,
character's
you never
fallible.
really.
Your character
Okay,
can be wrong,
okay.
and your character is wrong because he gets one-shotted by Jiro.
First of all, if Yamcha, so you're saying in this case, like if this
Yamcha can be
what I'm
wrong,
saying,
yes, and
okay,
he's been
but okay,
fucking
but,
wrong
okay, he
multiple
can be wrong.
times
That
in
doesn't
these
necessarily
arcs.
mean anything
Yes,
within this context.
yes,
It doesn't
he's been
necessarily mean anything
wrong
within this
within
context.
these
Okay, just because he
arcs.
can be wrong, that doesn't necessarily mean anything within the context I'm giving you. Because
Can
what I'm saying is
he's
that
he's almost always
I've already
wrong.
given the induction for why Goku and Piccolo, right, would have at some point shown the Z fighters, or at least get this
Can
case give
you
Z fighters access
can
to
you
information for
prove
them to.
that
Okay,
Yamcha
this isn't
can
a.
grow to such a degree? Yamcha. I'm
Why would I?
talking Yamcha, I'm not talking Tien, I'm not
So a
talking
totally different.
I'm not
This is a
talking
totally different.
Krillin,
This
I'm
is a
talking
totally different thing. You're talking
specific
about your ability to
Yamcha.
grow and get
The
stronger.
one guy
Why would that be?
the guy you're trying to rep who
Okay,
didn't
dude.
even
Okay,
participate in the arc, bro.
okay. So what you're trying now? You're trying to put into
No,
question
no,
if
I'm
he's even
telling you
capable of
that
that
no, I'm
withdrawal.
telling you with
Okay,
your
so first
feetless
of all,
character and with
oh my
your
god,
lack of
dude.
statement,
Okay, I
which
don't think
has
you
no
understand
like
how.
actual
Okay, I don't think
backing,
you understand how inductions actually
like
work. Yeah, I
no,
don't think you
no,
understand
your
how inductions
backing
actually
and your
work.
statement, like your statement to your backing doesn't just matter. It gets destroyed by the fact that Yamcha is a fallible character. You're
That
relying
doesn't
on
him being
Yamcha,
fallible
a
doesn't
bad
mean
narrator.
anything. As I've
This
already said this
guy who
multiple
thought he could
times,
beat up a
right? I've
nine-year-old
already given my
Goku
induction for
and
why
then
these
got his shit
characters are
mollywopped,
already
okay?
would have
He
a big
thought he was
idea
mugging
on
a
how strong
little
Frieza is,
boy
and
and got
given
his
with
shit
that they have
mollywopped.
this
Tell me
idea on
how
how
he's
strong
not wrong in
Frieza
that
is,
instance,
right? If
bro.
they're able
Tell
to
me
know
how
how
your
strong
character
Frieza is
cannot be
and know
wrong
the
and how he's
ballpark,
not wrong
all
in this
Frieza Yamcha has to know is all Yamcha has to know is that he's within the ballpark, right? If all he has to know is that he has to be within this ballpark of range, he doesn't have to be stronger. Just at least
So Namek
know this,
doesn't
given
have
that
to
he's
be
likely to know this
stronger. So
information,
he's not
and given
stronger
that
than
he and
Frieza.
what I've what
So
oh my
like
god, you
you're
can't,
saying
oh my
he's
god,
not
dude.
stronger
Okay,
than
you're not
Frieza.
tracking
Thank
my.
you.
You're not, for this entire
Yeah,
part,
yeah, thank
right?
you for
Because
conceding.
my
Thanks
my character
thanks
doesn't.
for the
How
concession.
is that a
Yeah,
conceit?
thanks,
How
buddy.
is that a concession? This is the 2-1 with my characters having a specific set of abilities that
Thanks
can
for the
make your
concession.
character. They don't necessarily have to be stronger. Are you stupid? Or are you stupid? This is who would win a 2v1, right? This
No,
is
at the
what?
start
Okay,
of
do
this
you know what a
argument.
ballpark means?
And no,
Do you know
because
what a
okay,
ballpark
literally
means?
how this
A ballpark
started is
simply
you
means that
started
within a
all
certain
the
range.
argument that you were
Sure, he can for example, and
Zero.
because
That
he'd
was
be
your
at
whole
relative in some
thing.
way, for example, because Jiro's able to
Also,
one
I
shot him,
am
for example, because of that with Andrew 21, right?
big.
If Sentence, for example, right? And that's all I'm saying. Given the induction that I've already given for why it's likely to be the case that he would have ballpark of how strong Frieza is, and given like 3 years of training, but I've already somewhat capable of getting to this range of ballpark, and given all of this, right? Given that Yamcha showed up, given that you would have to justify why Yamcha would be wrong, given objective information, given that he would objectively know how strong he is, given that he would objectively know how strong this other character is, right? If
I've already
Yamcha, for
supplied
example,
that.
if
I've already
Yamcha is
supplied
already,
it.
it's like
I don't
if
need to
Yamcha,
supply
yeah, sure,
anymore. I've
Yamcha can be
supplied it.
fallible. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. Yeah, Yamcha can be fallible, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything because there are different levels of
You
being
know, you
fallible. But if
speaking like
Yamcha's
Sonic
in
the
this case,
Hedgehog
instances
doesn't
that you have given,
necessarily get your
in the
point across
instances that you have
faster.
given,
It,
for
it honestly
example,
sounds like you need
the
to take a
you
breath.
have given is just
Do
him
me a
being
favor.
fallible with a lack of information.
Retard,
That doesn't really attack my argument in any way, any shape or form.
you need to take a breath because like you're not
Yeah,
breathing, bro.
this doesn't really attack my
No,
argument in any
like
shape or form
you're
whatsoever.
actually
But
like
anyways, if you can present
hyperventilating.
an
Like
argument that actually
chill.
attacks my
We're
argument, then
just
please do. But
debating
this
Dragon Ball
because he
Z.
can be fallible,
You need to stop hyperventilating, bro.
please give an argument.
Like I'm asking you to like, are you actually good? Because you're genuinely hyperventilating. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. Like, bro, I stopped giving a fuck about the debate when I heard that shit. I'm not gonna lie. As long as you're good, we can continue.
I drink. Yeah, I
Yeah,
just take a
no.
drink. So,
Yeah, go take a drink of water. We'll take a quick break.
no. Okay, let me get a drink.
Yeah,
And
please go take a
I had
drink.
like I had tea. I think I had a bit too much sugar in.
I'm just feeling something like a rap god. Oh, what?
Bro, I'm not even using deep.
Yo, Sam, shut the fuck up.
Yo, shut your ass up, boy. Matter of fact, didn't you quit
This is a
freezing because you
fucking
got your
faggot
ass
ass
beat
retard.
so
Shut your
bad,
ass up, you
bro.
fucking retard.
Nah,
Shut the
don't
fuck up,
talk to
nigga.
me. Matter of fact, you're my son, bro. Like, just I don't know.
You all doing good?
Simon ruined my night, bro. That nigga is retarded. Anyways, just to be clear.
Yo, come on, bruh. Simon ain't that bad.
Nigga, shut up, bro. I just hate this nigga Simon, bro. I just hate this.
Bruh,
I despise this nigga, bro.
what do you
I
do to
hate this
you?
nigga so bad, bro. I even forgot why this place.
The hatred's so deep you forgot, bro.
What's this called?
I don't know. I'm
Kill
waiting
Simon,
for
bro.
my
Kill
debate.
Simon, bro. He's a fucking nigga.
Come on.
I'm a faggot, boy. I'm raising that light. Nah,
Shut up,
buddy,
nigga.
you gay yourself,
Shut up.
man. That's just friendly
Shut up.
fire, man.
I don't wanna hear your ass talking, bro. Shut up.
Yo, Keo, debate Simon and Astroverse Inverse, bro.
Yeah, let's do philosophical
Why would
debate. I
this
don't
be
know.
a good
Any
topic to
philosophy of
do?
language. We can argue over contextual shit, or like meta semantic shit. You can trade a topic in it, or like philosophy of mind, substance dualism, physicalism,
I
functional
like this
shit.
nigga babble. Like, damn.
Yo! Whoa!
Okay, I just
Yogi
chugged
Bird.
two. I just chuggled two bottles of water.
You good? Like, you're actually good?
Yeah. I was talking so fast that it transcended my own tracking. Like, so
Dude! You were talking so fast, like you couldn't breathe, bro. You were going blue in the face.
um
But
yeah
okay, we're clearly not gonna get anywhere on this, so this is just kind of a we had this.
okay, so yeah, so you let's conclude, like we can give a conclusion on this point and then like try to quickly go through that, and if it just keeps going back and forth, then we just do a meta conclusion.
I promise you, I'm not changing my point, and I promise you, you're
I
not
mean
changing
that's
yours.
fine if we can ever
Let's
get a
just skip to the
record or
meta.
something.
Like I'm not
Uh,
willing to talk about something
well,
we've been talking about for a
I'm gonna
straight
give a
hour, dog.
yeah. Well, if we get a conclusion on what we've established, that'd be better. Looking for
Yeah, that's
a
fine.
record if we
That's
want
fine.
to get
I
someone to
just
judge.
don't want to go back and forth on it again. I feel like we've done
Okay,
enough.
yeah,
You
that's
know what I
fine.
mean? Yeah.
Okay, so my conclusion is that I think I won this point is that when I gave my argument for why the Z fighters would know and have a sense of the ballpark of how strong Frieza is, I said it's likely to be the case given what has already been established with what they are able to do prior, mainly within like the Saiyan saga, where they're able to get like stronger, faster than like anything we've seen before, and then not to mention we can just use they've already sensed like at least a way like a suppressed Frieza, somewhat suppressed Frieza. Given that also at some point Goku would have powered up into Super Saiyan during the training, probably showed off this power. The Z fighters can also sense this power. They'd have a gauge of how strong Frieza is, and I also think there is some basis for why Goku would also during this 3 year time skip also just go to the other Z fighters and show them this power, or at least like demonstrate it for them to like so they can have some basis to like get stronger at that point. Mainly because Piccolo does mention that, like saying, "Oh, you should if you're not ready to like be on the level of Frieza, don't come." Right, and likely the reason why he mentioned it, it probably could be that Goku at some point would have powered up and showed off this power, so these Z fighters would have an idea of how strong Frieza is. Like it just wouldn't make any sense for him to mention that if they wouldn't already have an idea on how strong Frieza is. And given that, I think, and given the Piccolo statement in general, given that I think they have some ballpark and idea of how strong Frieza should be, these characters would have trained and have reached some level of relativity with that. Without what said about the Saiyan saga, where they solve OG Dragon Ball multiple times, just from having this motivation to train stronger everybody else's, even if they're still near current Goku. The Android saga, that's perfectly fine. These other characters got way much stronger, like Vegeta and Goku. That's perfectly fine. And given that, Yamcha, sure, at some points he can be fallible, but I think within this instance, right, is an instance where he doesn't have any context. He has context. He knows how strong this character is. He has a ballpark of how strong this character is. He's been training for 3 years, right? And he also knows how strong he is. He can compare his power to how strong his power that he sensed before from Goku on Earth in order to at least get an idea. He can use this to understand that he's within some sort of ballpark. I can even steelman the possibility that sure he can be arrogant, think he's stronger, but it's also still can be the case that he's at least within this ballpark. Even if he's slightly weaker, he's only slightly weaker. Jiro being stronger than him, being able to one shot him, would simply just mean that he's also within this ballpark, whether he's equal or stronger than Frieza, right? Given these interpretations, I think it's fine. Given that Jiro and Android 21 should be, equal in strength, if not like one is stronger than the other, and that they both have this absorption thing. Since I don't really think there's any basis for why Namek Goku can do the same thing that Vegeta did to Android 21, I think they would just team up on Goku, since this is the 2v1, just absorb his energy. Also, way earlier in the rec, like in the beginning, surprised that I even tracked this in place, but yeah, I mentioned that Goku would already be a bit tired, right? You never really said anything about that. You said, yeah, okay. Goku being a bit tired at that point, right? This would literally be right after the Frieza fight, or like during it. He's already a bit injured and everything with the tab clothing and stuff. Yeah, I think given this, I have some basis to say they'll likely win, or they just would just win by absorbing his power, just weakening him and just killing him right there. And not to mention,
I thought we were just getting to a point. How does this get to the?
Oh, this is a conclusion. This is a conclusion.
Are
of
we
my point.
concluding?
Are we?
Okay, because I didn't know if you were concluding the debate. Because it sounds like you're concluding.
No, I'm concluding. Well, no, I am concluding the point. I'm concluding the point. We just made so many subpoints within that. Like, to conclude the point, we would also conclude every single subpoint within that. So, given all of this, I do think my point would still stand with the induction that it's likely, or it is the case that Android, Goku, and there's still further points. Like after you give your conclusion, you can still go into more points for, let's say, that interpretation or some complete new thing, right? But if not, then we can also just conclude the debate right here. Just depends on your conclusion.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can give your conclusion.
All right. So my conclusion is right when we got into the real meat of it. So we get to a few points in scaling. The issue with it is that he's relying on a few ideas, right? He's relying on the idea that these characters get stronger all the same and all relatively get stronger at the same time, right? He's also relying on the idea that Yamcha is a reliable narrator when it comes to fighting. And I have posted in sense of him being arrogant and showing that even against people that he been, or like not stronger than, that he's weaker than, he thinks him, and then he gets beat up. Ivan Men is a good example. I don't know if you track that, retard.
Oh yeah, I mentioned something like that earlier in the debate, though I didn't put in my conclusions. But
I brought that up. And then my main issue with his point, because the sub points were more towards the context, because the context of his point is that he's just bringing out the fact that Lo is saying if you're not on free level, don't come. And Yamcha still comes. But the reason why he brings up that idea is they got warned by Trunks who bodied Frieza, right? And he's saying these androids beat him.
Yo.
So in Piccolo's head, you gotta be Frieza or up. But he can't sense these like androids either, right? He can't sense them. And that's the issue. So not only can Piccolo not make this assumption of the androids that he is trying to scale at the moment, but they're not even the androids of which this power is referencing. We don't know how strong these androids are yet before they hit the screen. And even then, we don't even know if they're that high. I wouldn't even put them close to Frieza. There's no scaling to back it, and them off-guarding Yamcha wouldn't necessarily be a backing for it either. And that's my point.
Okay. So since that's already been concluded, is there any other points like separate, like completely different from what we have mentioned? that could substantiate for why you think Goku would win, or no?
Well,
Or do
Goku
you want to
having to
go?
fit, like, okay, so you brought up something in the conclusion to your point that I want to hit.
Well, yeah.
I didn't
Well,
agree. I didn't agree to an injured Goku.
well, the
So
thing is
it would
that
be
earlier.
it would be Namek Goku, full health, but able to go Super Saiyan. That's the Goku I'm repping.
Okay, the thing is that when I said Goku, right, when I like talked about Namek Goku, I did it. I think I did mention this within the rec, right? And it's like, I guess with this point, like before I go on to this, I do want to like say one thing before you mentioned that, because I was going to say something else. If we're going to continue on other points, right, we're going to have to just assume that none of our points went through and just like go into other points. So
Yeah.
we just don't go back and forth.
Yeah, no, I'm
Okay.
there. I know.
Okay. Going back to the whole Namek Goku thing. So earlier within the rec, right, and if we disagree on if this happened, right, then we'd have to go through the rec and just like agree to conclude.
Well,
But
like, let me ask you
but
this:
earlier in the rec,
is
wait, well,
your Android? No, hold up. This is important, right? When you're repping your Androids, they're full, like, not destroyed, right? Like, you're like, because I didn't
well,
go in with the idea that your Android 20 doesn't have his arms. I'm going in with the idea that he does. So,
yeah, I
like,
was using
yeah.
I did specify right when showing the scan, right, that yeah, I'm using Android 21 at the start. I mean, not 20, Android 1920, right, at the start of like the Android saga, right, and I do believe I specified this, and I was talking about the whole Yamcha thing. So I'd at least be using those versions of those guys, which are uninjured so far. But the reason why I bring up the Goku thing, it's not because it's some ratty thing, right? It's just that we were talking about at what point of the fight when we like consider Goku like Namek Goku specifically, because before the rec even started, I was talking about, hey, yeah, I think in this fight with Frieza, that Goku specifically would lose these characters, and then within the rec, right? So I'm that rec stuff. I just thought to mention that. But within the rec, like when we started debating and having this conversation, I did mention, yeah. So you see, did like a Goku on an image, specifically the image where it says 150 million power. Let me get the image, right? So I did say that. Did they like the Goku in that image? Let me Goku, Namek, 150 power level. Let me find the image. It was just the image of Goku, and like I did specify that Namek Goku power level data book. Like I mentioned, the image of Goku from this data book. So I was like using Goku like around that state. Oh, I found it. I think. Oh, this one. So copy image. Let me go to scans. So this Goku was slightly. You see this Goku. You see the Goku was like looking. So that I was like saying, yeah, Goku at that point. So he'd be slightly injured and stuff. The powder clothing. I mentioned the powder clothing as well, and yeah, like also, yeah, I think they would beat that version of Goku. I did literally specify that. I'm not even trying to be ratty. Like I thought we were just like I was just talking about within their fights, right?
Do
And
you
I
have
was
a translated scan?
Oh, no, well, I'm not actually. Well, all I'm saying is that this is I'm just saying the image of Goku. That just that image of Goku. You can ignore the text. I'm just saying. Yeah, I was talking about Goku from like that, like Goku at that point. That's an example of what I mean. Because I did literally say, yeah, you know that data book. I think early within the debate, I was like, you know that data book about like the 150 million power level, something like that. Yeah, I said, yeah, Goku. Like, do you see that version of Goku we see in that data book? It's like, yeah, Goku during the fight. What I specified during the fight, I mentioned that. And that's like an example image of what I mean. I don't need to translate this. I'm not arguing
I'm
anything from the
asking for
scan.
No, I'm definitely asking for a translation because what matters on this page matters.
Huh?
So for you to
I'm not
say you
arguing
don't
anything from
need
scan.
that,
Wait, I'm just
yes, you
arguing the
are.
image
You
scan. Wait,
fucking are.
what?
You're arguing for the context of the power level, right? But I need the scan because the scan matters.
No, I'm saying
It matters,
what? No,
and
I'm
I'm
saying
also asking you to just give me a
what?
translation. It shouldn't be that hard if you're confident in it. It's
Whoa,
fine.
whoa. All I'm saying is the image of
All I've
Goku.
asked is for
And I said
translation.
the image of Goku and the scan where it talks about his power level, right? That's all it is. I said an example would be the scan where it says this 150 billion power level. I'm not the power level doesn't matter here. Whether his power level is just taking the scan, right? The power level is that this is the scan I'm talking about. Where we're talking about the power level, but we can ignore the power level thing. That's not relevant to the conversation. What's relevant is the version of Goku that we see here.
pretty relevant, actually.
Why is it relevant? Wait, why is it relevant?
Because we're swaying power, right? And it's pretty relevant for my argument later. So yeah.
I'm not asserting anything on the scan other than just the image of Goku. I'm saying you see the image of Goku. Here.
And then you talked about his power level. Like, what's to be used here? Talked about his power level. I asked for a scan.
That talks about his power level. I said the image of Goku that talks about his power level.
Scan.
I'm not asserting.
Like, I'm asking for the scan translation. Is that terrible to ask for? Why are you fighting me on a translation? Can you not provide it? Just say you're unable to provide a translation.
Okay. Why would I need to provide a translation in this context?
Because I'm asking.
Okay, here's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, no. You're just You're clearly not understanding from a logical point of view. So I'm gonna say it nice and slow for you. You need to calm down. Quit doing this hyperventilating bullshit. It doesn't win you arguments. Okay. So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. When I'm asking you, because the context on the page is going to matter. Because even if you're just talking about it like this, what if that's the wrong Goku? That's not the correct Goku you're talking about. Okay? I'm asking you just to provide a translated version of your scan. It's not that big a deal. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just asking you to provide a translation because the context on the page could be different from what you're fucking talking about. I don't trust what you're saying. You're not a kanji expert. So I'm asking for a translated page. It's not that fucking hard. You're acting like this is like me saying that you're rhetorically like wrong. I'm asking for a translation because I'm asking you because your proof, I am unable to read your proof. So I need you just to provide a translation. Quit making it fucking difficult, babbling like a baby, and just provide it. If you can't or you can.
Dude,
okay? You're just saying if you're unable to, you could have just
you're not
searching Google, and we could have been over this. I'm just asking you to provide. I'm understanding it, but you're fighting me asking for a translation. I don't care within your now or what's
why would I need a translation?
You're worried that I'm about to find out a dirty little secret. Why are you worried that I'm about to find out a dirty little secret? Just provide a translation of the page.
I have no reason to translate.
Find a translation of the page.
It's literally irrelevant. It's literally red herring.
Okay, then I'm not accepting this. I'm not accepting this as any type of proof.
Why would you not accept it as proof? I'm not.
Because because I've asked you for a translation, and if I can't read kanji, I cannot take your proof. I'm asking you to send me a translated scan.
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, dude.
That's all I'm asking for. But I will be ratty if you're not gonna fucking like give me a translated scan. Why should I trust your word? Why should I trust your word? Why should I trust your word?
My argument is...
No, you're fighting me super hard on a retarded ass thing to fight me about. It's either you drop this point, or like you provide the scan. Translated.
Goku in this picture is what I'm talking about, right?
For a translated scan.
We talked about, and I can give you another example.
You spazzed out for me asking for you for a translation. Like, are you joking?
Let me give you more images. Let me give you more.
I'm asking for a translated scan. I'm not asking for more images.
I have no reason to give
you a
translation.
I'm just asking for a translated scan. Then I'm not going to take this as proof, and I'm just going to sweep it aside. I'm just going to sweep it aside. You could not provide your burden of proof. Provide the translation. Actually, I asked you for. Okay, you provided a scan. Okay, you spazzing like a little retard. All right, doesn't fucking win you an argument. Okay, notice how heated you are and how heated I am. Okay, quit hyperventilating, bro. You have asthma. It's getting to you. It's getting to you, my guy. Calm down.
Really shown the Goku.
Yeah. You taking breaths between every 3 words. Yeah, it's clearly shown. I'm just asking you for a translation for a scan you posted. You're spazzing because I asked you for a translation. I want that to be known. You are spazzing, losing were pissing and shitting your pants because I asked you to send me a translation of the scan. If you're unable to provide it, that is fine. I can go and search for it myself. Just say that you are unable to provide it. Just say you're unable to provide it. Are you unable to provide it? Are you unable to provide it? You're not even speaking English anymore, my guy. You are biting. You are slobbering on your lips, my guy.
What am I arguing?
Like, bro, I'm just asking you to just provide me a translation.
I don't need to. It's
No,
unnecessary.
yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because the scan is apparent to your argument. Because you're talking about power levels now. And if you're talking about power levels, yes, I need the translation.
Can you please?
Yeah, no, that's not how it works. Okay, that's not how it works. I was going to accept your evidence, and then all I wanted to do was read the stuff on your page. I wanted to fact check you. Is that you're acting like people don't do that? You're acting like you're the first person ever to be asked for an English translation scan. Is it really like so astronomically insane that you would like shoot your foot like over this shit? Yeah. Provide a translation. Provide a translation. Provide a translation. Either provide a translation or unmute my boy Simon. Provide a translation or unmute my boy Simon. Provide a translation or unmute my boy Simon.
Yeah, so this is literally a red herring.
Yeah, provide a translation or unmute my boy Simon.
Red herring. Do you want to conclude? This is literally a red herring. Do you want to conclude?
Yeah, no, this isn't a red herring. You just refuse to attack. No, we can conclude. We can conclude. I'll go first. So I asked.
Simon. Okay, Simon. Okay, who unmuted Simon?
So
jeez.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go first. He couldn't really debate against me. Every time I brought up some context of the story, he got flabbergasted. He spazzed out twice in this debate. On top of that, I asked him for a translation for a scan for his argument, and he outright refused to give me the translation, which means I don't have to accept that because I can't see nor read what's on this page, okay? So, yeah, no, that's pretty much the end of this argument.
My conclusion for that point. So, all my argument was not hinged on the text of the scan. I have no reason to translate it because I'm not arguing anything from the text. All I'm saying, I even gave you another scan. I gave you a second scan that had no text whatsoever, right? And you just ignored it as well. Where all I'm saying is that version of Goku. I just gave you images of that Goku, right? I just said, look, you see the Goku? Well, that's the Goku I'm talking about. And I gave you my scan where there is no text whatsoever. Goku and Shoot. All I was saying is that Goku at that point. And talking about, Goku perfectly healed, perfectly healthy, and all that stuff. I'm just talking about a slightly injured Goku, a slightly exhausted Goku, right? I have no reason to translate the scan when my argument is not hinged on the text in the scan. It's simply a red herring because the text in the scan isn't relevant to my argument. What's relevant to my argument is the image of Goku. I gave you the image of Goku. I told you about it and you just ignored it. All I was giving you.
Okay, well, continue. You're just repeating. Continue.
Okay, well, that gave my conclusion.
Cool.
Yeah, so do you want to conclude on the debate, or do we have another?
I thought that was the conclusion for the debate.
Okay.
None of your points are hitting, bro.